Hi, everyone, and welcome to Divine Resolution Tarot. For those of you who are new, my name is Chanel. For those of you who are returning, thank you for giving me the opportunity to read for all of you again. So, Leo, I've shuffled your deck. If you're watching for Leo, reverse the roles. But in the shuffle, I was seeing that you're just tired. Whatever you've been going through in your love life, it looks like has been kind of a battle. And I feel like you're taking a break. This month, you're focused on healing. I think you're really worried about whoever you're dealing with, if they're going to be okay for whatever reason. So this could be someone that you have a fear about leaving them to their own devices, right? There's an energy here this month that I feel like you're seeing that your person is just not relationship material. You could be leaving a situation because I'm seeing that very, very strongly. But this is something that you've been dealing with for quite some time. This is not anything new, right? It's like there's always conflict, there's always drama. This person could have a tendency to start arguments. This relationship is not progressing naturally. It's not progressing in the way that it should be because there's something about your person's energy where they try to be very elusive, right? It feels like as soon as you start to kind of make progress or pin them down, they might leave, they might get very silent, they could shut down. And this is just like a reoccurring theme within this connection. And it's exhausting for you, right? I think that you look at love and you're thinking to yourself, this shouldn't be so difficult. Why does it feel like I have to fight to love this person, right? So there's an energy here of you just pulling back, pulling back yourself, taking some time. This could be someone who's recently done something that kind of sabotaged what you guys were working on. And I feel like, again, that is behavior that you've seen from this person before, right? Maybe they have a tendency to say one thing and do another, or just when things get good, they go very quiet, or suddenly they act like they don't want what you want. This person really has a tendency to pull the rug out from under you. And so rather than looking towards them for stability this month, it feels like you're going within and you're very focused on what you want in a relationship. You're very analytical at this time, right? I'm not seeing really a whole lot of emotion. You do have this Six of Cups, however, which is kind of a dangerous one because it puts you in your feels. It has you thinking a lot about the past and the connection you're in, but you're not visualizing a future with this person anymore, right? And I feel like that has a lot to do with the way that they've shown up in this relationship. You've had good times. There's a connection here for sure. But the difficulty is, where is this going? How do we move forward? You can't live your life in the past, always trying to get back what you initially saw from this person. Well, they just kind of run wild, right? So there's an energy here of you coming to the realization this month that things need to change and that you can't allow this person to dictate the course of this relationship anymore because it's very apparent that they don't see the value in the connection, right? They're not showing up the way that someone who loves you would. And if you're trying to go with the flow with this hanging man, card, there isn't really a flow here, right? This person is all over the place. They're very, very chaotic. I feel like they're probably addicted to drama with what I'm seeing here. And so it's like whatever you're trying to create, this really feels like this person has a tendency to destroy or work against you. And so I feel like for you, when you take into account this entire situation, right, not just the good times and not just the bad times, but everything you've seen so far, you can't find a reason to keep dealing with this. It's just not worth the investment. It's not worth the time and the energy that it feels like you've expended in trying to love this person. As I'm looking into what you're going to want to do about your person, this Six of Cups energy is coming out. And so it's hard because when you look at the tangible evidence in this connection, right, you don't feel like you have a whole lot to show for the time you've been here. But then here it is, Six of Cups, King of Pentacles. You still feel like this is your person, right? But for whatever reason, there's an energy of feeling like you need to leave. For some of you, you've taken a step back from your person and you feel like they're giving to someone else very quickly. I believe that was something Scorpio was dealing with as well. So you could be dealing with the Scorpio, you could have Scorpio in your chart, but I think you're ready for something a lot more tangible, a lot more concrete. And so there's an energy of going back to the drawing board. What did you want out of a connection? What did you want out of this connection? If this person can't be that, it's almost kind of like the resolution of, well, there's other fish in the sea, right? I don't need to shift what I want. Maybe I need to shift who I'm getting it from. And I feel like in the past, the energy was more like, this is what I want, and you need to be that. Now you're kind of looking at this person and be like, I don't think you'll ever be that, right? So instead of giving up on what I want and hoping that you can become that, or settling until you do, maybe I need to go back and just reassert my boundaries, redefine my parameters for what I want in a relationship, and start looking for somebody who can fill that spot in the way that I want, right? So I think that's good. I mean, it's frustrating, but it's liberating for you in a lot of ways because you're not trying to wrangle this person or rein them in. I do think, however, you're aware of this person's self-destructive tendencies. And so now that you've kind of gotten some clarity on this and you're figuring out maybe this isn't the action I want to take to continue to put into this, like I'm starting to heal, I don't want to reopen these wounds with this person. I think you've moved into a space that you've not been in as far as this connection. And so there's a little bit of a fear here as to how this energy is going to respond when they realize that you're working on other things, right? Or that you're open to the idea of being with someone else. I think that you put up with a lot from this person because you're very, very strong, right? But when it comes to this person, they come off with all this strength and bravado, but I think you know very well that they would take it quite difficult if they saw you with someone else, or if you just chose not to deal with them because you don't feel like going through this again. So for a lot of you, I feel like there's this fear that this person is going to sabotage themselves or go to a really dark place when you don't want to keep investing in this situation. But you also know that this is the right thing to do for you. Because when I'm looking at your opportunity, you got judgment, right? So you have an opportunity to kind of rewrite this in the way that you want it to be. For some of you, maybe you haven't really been in communication with this person as much, and it's given you time to figure out what the boundaries should have been from the beginning, right? There's things that I feel like when you look back, you think, oh, I should have nipped this in the bud right then when they said this, or I shouldn't have continued to invest in this when they did that, right? So if this person is kind of coming back into your orbit because of the Six of Swords reversed, it feels like you have this new set of rules that in your mind, it's not just them, it's everybody. You're holding everybody to a different standard. So if they're not showing up based on these new kind of ideas, they're not going to have a space in your life, right? This person I'm seeing kind of has a tendency to be distant and then to act like everything's fine when they come back around. And for you, it's like, you know what? I can do that, right? I can wipe the slate clean. But in wiping the slate clean, I have to give up all of the good memories that we have, all of that like tie that I feel to you. And I have to treat you like this is brand new and judge this accordingly, right? Because I feel like the connection that you have with this person has very deeply influenced a lot of what you've put up with, right? If they're being like, non-committal or flighty, or they have a tendency to ghost, you seem to have a habit of going back and thinking about all the good times, chalking it up to like runner chaser energy, right? But if you try to hold this person accountable, they accuse you of living in the past. Well, you just can't let it go. You just can't be here now. Okay, well, what do we have now, right? If I leave the past behind and I move to the now, there's no reason I should be talking to you based on what I've seen in the past. I think that's your problem. So now it's almost like you're allowing the situation to be fresh. Like, okay, fine. I won't bring up the past, but I'm also not going to judge this situation by the parameters that I judged it before, because this person can't have it both ways, right? They can't tell you, stop living in the past. Why are you always bringing up the bad stuff? But then they still want you to hold on to the connection and the love that you cultivated for them in the past, right? It's like either we bring that forward and then we address the issues we have, which this person isn't ready to do or willing to do, or you're right. I won't talk about the past and I'm going to act like I don't know you. And then I'm going to be very, very discerning about what I put up with, because to me, this is brand new, right? If we don't have a foundation from the past, then I'm going to judge this a lot different. I'm going to judge this by the standard of the person that I've become as a result of this situation, right? Versus judging your actions and keeping the way that I feel about you in the front of my brain, right? So I like this for you this month, because even though it's a frustrating situation, right? It's like you're pivoting, you're realizing you can't make anybody do anything. So that's very good, because you're not going to keep banging your head up against the wall, trying to make this person suddenly become relationship material. But I like that you're almost giving this person what they want, because there's an energy of them being like, just let it go, right? Just let it go. Why do you always have to bring up bad stuff when we're having a good time? Well, it's because you need understanding for why those things happen. You need reassurance. But if you're going to let that go, then you're also, right, letting go of that connection, in the sense that you're not going to keep giving this person all of these concessions based on the past. So I like that, because you have an opportunity to kind of set this new boundary with this person. You have an opportunity to give them what they keep complaining about, which is actually you're just trying to hold them accountable, but to them, you're not getting over it, right? So you're giving this person what they keep complaining about, and you're going to have to make them think. You get what I mean? This is weird, because I feel like this person really banks on how deep your connection is, and they take it and run with it. This is somebody who may, like I said, commit to other people in front of your face, and expects you not to think anything of it, and then come back and want to pick up where you guys had left off last time they ghosted, right? This person's behavior is just very strange. So I like that you're not allowing this person to really have a whole lot of input about what happens in this situation, because it almost comes across as them not even really knowing, right, what they want, or lacking in consistency with that Hierophant reversed, right? That has a lot to do with like discipline. Are you showing up? Are your words matching your actions? But also, like, do your words even hold weight? Can I believe in you? I don't think you believe in this person anymore. When I'm looking at your obstacle, 6 of Swords, 7 of Swords, both in the reverse. So this looks like an apology to me, right? Somebody who may say things like, hey, let's work on our friendship. If you weren't in a relationship with this person, it's very possible that this was like a very sex-based situation. And so that foundation of friendship is not there, right? And so I think, again, that's very good for you to be able to define some parameters with this person in a friend zone area, rather than just move it very quickly to like, hey, let's be together. Because as soon as you try to be with this person, they get super triggered. And I think you know that, right? But also with how much this person has hurt you, I don't even think having a relationship with this person is something that really appeals to you at this time. Now, I do feel like this person will be telling you a lot. So it seems like there's a lot that's happened to them. It feels like they may have some sort of confession of like, oh, last time I left, it's because everything went crazy in my life, right? I feel like you've given up on me. That's something. This person feels heavy on the guilt trips, right? But there's also an energy here coming through of this person knowing that you're very upset with them. And then they kind of know the right things to say to get you back into that space, right? Of like ignoring your own intuition. So it makes me feel as though this person, they know how to get under your defenses. And that's, again, why I feel like you haven't just met this person. This is not something new. There's something here about another person. Okay. So I feel like this is someone who has a tendency to make you a priority and then very quickly shift their focus to someone else. Right. And it could just be whoever comes at the moment and then they drop you. Or it could be that they've tried to be with you, but there's always that ex energy and it feels like they're more committed to the ex than you. And you're the one that's just like the third party, even though this is a situation that happened a very long time ago, right? So the hard part is I feel like this person has a tendency to kind of breadcrumb you. They know what you want to hear. They know what you would like to see, right? And so they show you evidence of that to get you to move, right? To get you to come back and maybe warm back up to them. But very quickly, you find that the situation is not any different than the way you left it, right? Something to consider, King of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is an option for you, right, this month. But what would you have to give up on to live in this, right? All of these ideas about your partner, your ideal relationship, how would those have to shift for you to be able to settle and not keep like having those desires? You get what I'm saying? Like you would almost have to say to yourself, oh, well, I guess I'll never be a priority in this person's life. And even though I really wanted a relationship where it felt like a couple, I could settle for this throuple situation, right? That's something that if you say that out loud, that sounds crazy, right? I'm not calling you crazy, but I'm just saying oftentimes we do things that if we stopped and said them out loud and like did the takeaway thing, I always look at the takeaway of a situation. If this person wants you, but they're still creating something with their ex, and then they're in your face and, you know, your emotions, the Six of Cups gets in the way. And it's like, well, they love me, but they still have to deal with this. And okay, but let's look at the takeaway of this. The takeaway is that this person is still in a relationship with someone else. Whether the name or the title isn't there, energetically, they're still with someone else. They don't have room for me. And this person expects me to settle for what's left of their energy at the end of the day after they give a whole bunch of energy to something that didn't work in the past. That's the takeaway there, right? So maybe look at that for you, because I feel like in this person's absence, you've been able to cultivate a very healthy idea of what you want in a partner. And if this person returns, there's no guarantee that they're going to do anything different. So you'd literally be exchanging those ideas to get a King of Pentacles in the reverse, right? Which, what can you do with that? Not much, not much at all. So I think that's something that you should kind of consider this month. This person might be feeling as though they need to reassert themselves or come back into your life. But I think that if you can just slow the pace down, right? Maybe not allow yourself to jump into anything until you know 100% what all it entails. Because between you and I, this looks a lot like something you've already seen, right? Maybe shift your focus, work on something else. You know, even if this person really wants your attention, work on something else, because there's an energy here of this person trying to keep you stuck, trying to keep things on their terms. So just consider that, right? If you have an opportunity to be in this person's company this month, right? Take a look and see what is the point? Am I getting anything out of this? You know, it's okay to sometimes measure relationships by transaction. If it feels like you've been getting the short end of the stick, what have you been putting into this? And what are they getting from you versus what are they giving to this connection? And what is that creating for you? Because I'm seeing that it feels like every time you allow this person to have any kind of inch, they take a mile and they run with it, right? They walk all over your boundaries and then they have an attitude of like, oh, but you don't mind. And then that keeps you waiting or stuck, kind of hoping that eventually they're going to repay some of this energy that you've been dumping into them. But the thing is like they're kind of this bucket with holes in it. So they don't have your energy to give it back to you. They just let it all flow out and then they come back empty, right? Four of Swords coming out in the reverse for your advice. Four of Swords in the reverse talks a lot about not going back to a situation that's been exhausting, right? Like really just taking the time to heal and then calling it, and you're going to do what you want to do. You are an adult. My job is to just tell you what I see. But this is talking a lot about perhaps just nipping this in the bud, calling this an ending, and then viewing that as your victory rather than going back into this battle, hoping that this person changes, and then viewing them as like, yeah, I was able to get this whatever from them and transform them into someone, that I knew they could be, right? I saw their potential and I was able to help them realize it. That's not exactly the prize in this situation. The prize is more you standing up for yourself once this returns and just kind of calling it, right? I'm not seeing anything different. This looks a lot like what I've seen in the past. Whatever energy I gave you, just keep it. Just keep it. I don't want it back, right? Maybe give it to your baby mom, give it to your ex. I don't care. That's actually your win. And I know that sucks because you want to probably have whatever you've desired for so long come from this person. But Spirit is saying that this is not something that you want to give more time to at the moment. That could absolutely change, right, in the future. But I think if you want to create something different with this person, you're going to have to show up different. And so this action would be the start of that, right? Rather than show up the way that they're used to, perhaps try something new if you really do want to keep this. But if you're just looking for a relationship that's healthy, the advice is to not give to this at this time because it looks like this is very much something you've already seen, okay? Now, I'm going to take a look in the extended reading about your person. I'm going to look into their energy and see what they're doing this month, right? I feel like your person is thinking of you, probably because you're not putting as much effort into the situation. It feels like they really want to talk to you, or at least they want to come back and kind of see what's going on with you, right? So I'm going to take a look at what they want, what they're hiding from you, all kinds of stuff. And I'll put a preview for that at the end of this reading. For your self-care oracle cards this month, you got passion, resurrect a childhood dream, let your passion take flight. So this is saying that perhaps you should be doing some work on your inner child, right? Because there's this energy of feeling protective over this person. Maybe it's time to give that same like nurturing and guidance and protection to yourself. And the best way to do that is by going back and kind of thinking about the things you wanted for yourself. You've already started that with that Six of Cups, but expand it, right? Not just in relationships, but as a kid, what did you think you'll be like as an adult? What were things you enjoyed doing as a kid that perhaps you've lost sight of as an adult? And allow that part of yourself to have some time every day to do whatever that is, whether it's color or create art or music or dance or sing, right? There's parts of yourself that I feel like are missing. And perhaps you like this person because they bring that out of you, or there's an energy of them being kind of childlike sometimes. And so that inner child in you gets a chance to come out and play, right? And so maybe you miss that feeling, and that's why you feel attracted to this person, right? But you can still experience that really great feeling of tapping into your inner child and connecting with that part of yourself with or without this person, right? You got guidance. Ask for guidance. The divine will meet your every need. So when I get this card, it really feels like it's out of your hands at the moment, Leo, right? There's not a whole lot that you can do about this connection. And I'm not saying that to like frustrate you guys, because that doesn't mean that nothing will happen. But oftentimes you hit that wall where it's like you just have to give it to God, right? There's not a whole lot that you can do that is going to facilitate movement at this time. So again, that's why it's saying just kind of focus on you, right? Intent, focus your energy. There's an amazing power and a strong intention. So in this person's absence, you've had some time to really set intentions about what you want moving forward, right? Stay focused is what this is saying. Don't allow this person, their resurgence, to detour you from parameters that you've taken the time to define for yourself that make you feel safe, right? Because you deserve to have safety and security in your relationships, and you deserve to have someone show up for you. You shouldn't have to settle, right? So don't lose sight of your intention when you deal with this person, okay? All right, Leo, thank you so much for letting me read for you. The preview is coming. Link for the extended is in the description box below. Bye. So, Leo, as I'm looking into your person's energy for the month, you got the Six of Swords. It feels to me like your person is kind of struggling. It looks like they may have put their foot in their mouth in some fashion, and they're having a really hard time figuring out how they could shift the dynamic of the connection, especially because some of the things that I'm seeing here, um, it feels like your person, they don't want to be in a relationship. So I don't know what they're telling you about like their thoughts or their feelings. It feels like this person has been quiet for quite some time because you actually have the Hermit in the reverse for what they're bringing into your life this month. So that talks about somebody that, felt like they wanted to be alone. Perhaps they were being very quiet or non-communicative. Now I'm seeing this person maybe making a little bit more effort than what you've seen. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that